There.
And let us check for all the players for when we're ready. A little bit of a tech pause here and there, but hopefully a little bit of a switch up with systems, and hope we can go on and have a smooth rest of the game, but only time will tell as we hop into round 2 with the side of Yen being able to buy up. But this is looking like a pretty light buy so far. 2 pistols still in the hands of Natural and Bucket. They're gonna have to work really hard to try and convert these weapons through, or their teammates. And as we begin, the one-way is already popped with an immediate rotate over towards the mid site. Looks like Disorder's just gonna slowly try and creep up tiles, go up, and they have a smoke on the right side, so Yen is definitely aware of this med presence, and they just can't really do anything about it. And this will just let this order come through and just walk up for free. A lot of people left and right. Up mid will get traded, and all of the tools instantly comes in through market, as everything is just going to get cleaned up by Mist.
Mist with a nice little 3k. Very interesting to see from both teams. They did a complete switch up. Maybe that's to throw them off since it's the Bayern Nika round, but very interesting to see how the patterns will play out. It is looking like that. Disorder is looking towards more of a mid hits right now. But yeah, we'll see how that goes, because that was a really interesting round done by Disorder, trying to take up the mid control, but it was a bit unlucky having Mist just doing a spray down, shutting it completely down.
And another tech pause, as unfortunately it feels like these custom games are just gonna end up like this here and there, with pauses needed almost every round, but a little bit nice music. Looks like Nick's just enjoying a little bit of music. We are going to be looking at the converted buy round though. Really clean, not many guns lost. And it seems like we will be looking at a bonus of 3 sheriffs though, so the one taps and the trades are going to have to come in. A possible judge in the hands of Recoil, which is a really interesting decision. Hopefully, surely, we're going to be seeing that switch back to an AR, and there it goes. Yes, it will indeed. As we hop into what will hopefully be the 3rd round starting, and we will have a stack from the side of Yen leaning towards this A side defense. It looks like they're looking for a little bit of an aggro play since it is their bonus. And a Bucky in the hands of Bucket, who is going to be playing around the elbow space, but they are not going to be ready for Disorder to hit this side of B, as we have an immediate rush up of 4 with just a little bit of a lurk from Curse in mid. And Yen's just gonna hear all the space immediately go around. Curse is gonna pick up a kill in mid, caught out as Deftones tries to get the rotate in, and the push into Boba. It looks like Yen isn't ready for this, getting picked off everywhere. And yeah, rounds through as they just aggro on through. Definitely think you were right on track with Disorder needing to push much harder and hopping straight into Boba, getting everyone off their game. So that was a very nice round by the side of
380's live.
Disorder to win that buy-up. And as we hop straight into the round, we do have a walkout. Archeros will catch that one is out, and Mist is going to be caught off by Perth. As Perth just continues doing that little bit of a tiles walk-up, and all of a sudden, looks like Yen is really scared of this mid phase. Just can't get anything. Stealth drone will get broken, and the smoke invested for that bottom mid to try and hold on and retake this mid space. But the issue is, they do not have any info, which is really ironic as the Gecko is on the side of attack. And it looks like Disorder here is just going to try and walk out for a little bit of space. The gate crash onto site is invested, and Yen will be hearing all of this as rotates start to come through. Do have to be aware of lurkers since they don't have enough control, but looks like Perth's just going to go aggro, pushes into Market, takes off Bucket's head. We'll send that gate crash back into main
Spike
for an
down
escape.
B.
Lilo will get caught out, trying to get that bomb down as the
30 seconds left.
Rico is
Last
going to
player
come through,
standing.
and all of a sudden it's down to a 1v1, and Rico will pick up the 3 with brilliant head taps to take that victory back.
Yeah, another Clove 3K, really showing the value of Clove on this map. I think it was a really interesting round getting to that mid control, but it was nice cleanup by Recoil. I mean, that was just some fantastic shooting.
Yeah, the pushing is really coming through, and they don't really have a choice with this Clove, with the 40-second cooldown, and due to that little bit of fault, we do see Leela get picked off as we enter the 5th round, and both teams are going to be playing this really slow, but Yen's going to be at a bit of a gun disadvantage. The stealth drone went through all of B lobby, knows that all of Disorder is going to be towards mid and A, and the rotates have come through. You see the stack that's going to be on the A side in front of all these Disorder players. But we do see the dimensional drift come through. Showstopper will pick one off as Oakland's gonna get picked off. Nyx will get another pick through short as we see Disorder trying to push through the one-way, which immediately gets punished. And Nyx is walking out, is ready for the shots. The shots will not land. Dodge Flash will get picked off by Pass as the numbers are going to get evened up just a little bit. And the Lurker's in. Zerf's gonna pick up one, will immediately get traded by Mist as now we're in a little bit, and Rico will actually get the pick back. And all of a sudden it's a 2v2, bomb is down in front of the one-way.
That's
So,
really low.
Last
yeah,
player
Light
standing.
isn't
One
gonna be able to
enemy
retreat,
remaining.
gets traded out back in a 1v1 between Deftones and Recoil. Recoil is going to go for the swing, but has not quite an idea of the positioning of where Deftones is going to be playing, and Deftones will pick up round number 5 as they actually convert what was there a little bit lighter of a buy.
Another Hero 3K coming in for Yen. I mean, it's just really well played. They did have to concede the lurk onto mid, but it was traded out immediately. And wow, it's just really interesting to see how these teams are going against each other. I mean, it's just duel after duel.
Yeah, they are playing solidly together as we're looking at a lot of mid presence. Going to be a huge mid fight that Yen's just going to have to give up because they don't have the numbers to fight this at all. Looks like Disorder's just going for a really aggressive fight since they are going to find a way to try and convert this kind of a buy that they've just tried to just bring together and make do with.
Natural gets 2 through the smoke.
Yep. Bottom mid is smoked, so the reclear is going to come through. The numbers are all back,
enemy
and
remaining.
Disorder's just going to get completely sandwiched as their entire team, with no direction to go, gets dismantled in mid. Just unable to find any entry anywhere, a little bit not quite sure where they're going, and just like that, with Yen able to have the time to rotate back over and just clean up the rest of the mid.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It's very interesting to see that these mid takes are always on these eco rounds. So I don't know if this is a trend they'll keep going for, but it's not been working for them so far.
Yeah, they are just in response to that looking to do a really quick execute onto this A side. As we see a heavy rush through elbow. Is Deftones going to be ready for this? But could just be overwhelmed by the numbers. Luckily, Nyx is going to pick off Usman, which is going to be the only short player. And just like that, all of Disorder is actually trapped in elbow without much space to play with. They just won't be able to push out of sight. As we do see a little bit of a lurk over towards mid. Disorder isn't going to be ready for this backside play as Deftones is going to pick Lila off. And there goes Perths, leaving just poor Zephyr to try and salvage what is left with the spike stuck on site in the hands of Yen. Every angle is held. Recoil's gonna swing, not quite with Zephyr, but they will get the job done. And we will see the Thorns pop at the top of short, but they will have to try and take this valuable timing to just take whatever space they can. Recoil's gonna take a fight, turns around, gets a pick on Deftones, and is going to be pinched by Natural, who's going to finally wrap their way around and help their team pick up this 5th round for them.
Super good by Natural over there, holding up for the lurk, waiting up for if they want to go for that B rotate, and just I think it was Zephyr who's just not prepared for that final little lurk up through short, which is really nice. I think that this really fast take by Disorder is not going well for them, and that they should slow it down. But we'll see how that turns out. Let's say go for a mid and A split.
It looks like we are looking at possibly a tech pause with one AFK. Nope. We do have 5 players back, but the A side is completely empty. The push-up tiles has been punished and was completely ready. Mist is just sitting in this bottom mid spoke, looking for any pick they can. But the numbers are even with actually in favor of Yen, as Usman's down to a 48 HP, as this Aldrone from Yen is going to verify that, yep, A is quite clear, even though they left it open. This fault line comes in, and Perth is just gonna stuck out the fight alone as trades come in back and forth. Natural is gonna pick up one. Both not dead yet, still to be invested. And this fight is going to force both clones to fight each other. They're gonna have to fight sooner or later, whether they're both gonna get eliminated. Rico will pick up the revive successfully, but oh no. Oh no, they're not ready for Nyx.
One enemy remaining.
But Zephyr gets the trade.
Zephyr does a 180 and trades him right back. And now all it's
30
down
seconds
to
left.
is Zephyr
Launching thorns.
Oh, you didn't see
and
them.
Bucket. But Bucket's not noticed. Bucket gets the timing just barely. But the pings on the map do verify that actually Zephyr knows, or someone has heard and calmed this. And Bucket's going to need to struggle and look for this last position and catches the timing.
Oh, he doesn't read it, Zephyr.
The edge
Okay.
of the screen.
Yeah.
Just unable to actually check far enough as Bucket catches what was probably the only part of the screen that Zephyr just wasn't able to see.
Yeah, that close jump was just that little bit that got them that win right there. I mean, it was really interesting to see as Yen go up for the mid control, and we see a little bit of a trouble from Disorder. I mean, you could even say that they are in complete disorder, not able to be picking up these mid fights.
Yeah, Disorder's gonna have to really smash aside, but it's going to be hard with all these ults that we see online from Yen's side as we going towards a stack. Deftones immediately gets picked off while trying to do a quick rush tiles. And Disorder's just going to try and execute out Perth right before the gate crash. He's going to get picked off, but we'll get a trade back for Usman. And all of these ults will immediately get invested, just as predicted. And once again, this spike with the Wingman is stuck on site, and Disorder just don't really have any way out of this. Looks like they're just going to have to invest this.
Oh, I think sparked it twice.
Yeah.
Comes back in.
looks like just deciding whether they're gonna use a stealth garden. Just trying to figure out if, and there, yep, we
They
have
do
the invested ults, and both sides of
Last
Yen
player standing.
still have, nope, Bucket does not have the gun, unable to trade anything, and actually,
Spike planted.
it's worked out perfectly,
One enemy
for-
remaining.
as I was going to say, but Bucket is going to pick up a free pick and get traded out, and Disorder actually back on with a 2-for-1 ult? A 1-for-1 ult.
Uh,
So, looks like we're just gonna have to start this round with Disorder looking for a really fast A hit here. Probably going to try and invest a showstopper off of that dimensional drift if they want to make use of these ults so that they can cycle through them quickly. As they're hopping straight in, just straight with the showstopper, looking for whatever they can get. Deftones is going to showstopper back and actually catch Usman. And the dimensional drift isn't going to be able to get any value, instantly denied, as we're seeing
Enemy remaining.
an absolute hinge from the side of Yen. Just total control from Yen, taking the pace of this match.
I think that,
Um,
yeah, I mean, there's just taking complete pace. Disorder is just sort of lost in ideas. I do not like that they're playing so aggressively so fast. Because, I mean, they're going into these set retakes that they're playing against. I mean, I'd rather see either they take this control, push much deeper, or they go for a slow push like they did in the previous 2 rounds.
Yep, and as we start round number 11, it's like we are seeing just a
down
repeat
A.
of last round. But this time, there's actually a chance. Disorder as they pick up a gun, but nope. Bucket is just going to get one. No one is ready to trade, but Zephyr will get the pick, gets the head tap off. But will they be prepared for Nyx to be so ahead of the
player
game?
standing.
Nyx will take the pick on
Spike
recall,
down
and it's
A.
all down to Zephyr, who will get the first pick out of the 3. But a miracle's gonna have to appear, and Natural will shut down Zephyr to get Yen to their 8th round.
Last round before the switch.
I mean,
As, yeah,
You know, just a very close round to play. I mean, I think Disorder should be happy with that. They got a lot of damage done. Unfortunately, they do not have any ults compared to Yen, who have both the Sova and Teho ult. So this does not look good. I would expect for a more default and just try to pick off these ults before they get into a post plant.
no, I completely agree. It's just these ultimates are on the side of Yen. They somehow still just always have the ults. And they're probably going to need to try and bait out 1 or 2 of these ults. And Deftones is just going to send it straight in. All the way down bottom mid. Nyx gets a pick across the side of the map. And trades are going to come in everywhere. Nyx is already in tiles. Will get picked off. Getting the kills with the Odin. And it's down to a 3v2. The ults will get invested. And this is really looking bad for Leela as it's
One
stuck
enemy
out.
remaining.
But they find the perfect positioning, and Disorder's just going to get both picks. And it's just down to Bucket, who has an op. But
Okay, Golden,
this
see him.
Thrash is lost. The Thrash is lost in market. As we see Bucket just doing a little bob, seeing what they can do. And Wingman's just going to get this bomb down on A site. So Lila's going to be ahead of this pace. And Bucket will be spotted. As both these Disorder players are actually playing really disciplined. Just hopping back, taking their time. Nothing quite to be worried about yet, since this bomb, this spike is planted in a very inconvenient position. And the fault line comes in, just an aftershock to play around, but just not going to have quite enough to play around with. As Recall will catch the timing, wrap around, and then pick Bucket off and try and tie the score
Switching sides.
back up closer as we switch at halftime.
What an amazing round for Disorder, man. I mean, they had everything against them. They had the Teho pushing them out, all the utility coming out, and Layla and Zephyr get the amazing picks off from mid. I think they should be super happy with how that half ended. I mean, in 8-4 half and Sunset attack is unfortunate, but that ending was all that they could have hoped for.
Yeah, just getting those picks, the 2 picks at mid, to immediately flip these numbers, a huge advantage and could possibly just be their ticket to get back in this game and just snowball this lead.
Spike drop.
If only they could cut the pacing, as we see a huge team fight happening on A,
Spike down
and
A.
no trades are able to come through. Puss is going to be stuck on the left side of elbow, and no way out. But Leela's going to pick up 2, and all of a sudden,
Last player standing.
we've absolutely flipped around. And it looks like we're just playing attack on defense. This, that was not the outcome I was expecting to see. What a push out. Just...
Yeah, I mean that was a very interesting 5-man push. Got a bit punished for that actually, as we do come into another tech push for man DC, but yeah.
Just
Naturals
taking a look
DC.
at last round, it was really just weren't able to find what they needed. Getting picked off left and right by both players. And Leela being able to just swing out there while Perth was stuck, not really being able to get up out of that tucked elbow space until we saw 2 free picks just come in. Beautiful picks that immediately turned the tables around, as somehow on the defending side, we saw Disorder actually get numbers right back and go for the push.
Yeah, I just want to see how they go on with the rest of the map. If they are intending to do more 5-man pushes, or if they're going to go back to a normal default and that was just the pistol strat. Yeah. As we are...
Yeah, we're just gonna have to take a look. They probably want to have more of a fast-paced push, I would reckon, since they do have that breach tear and there's not a lot of spacing to play around with. And
Oh.
I only just noticed this now, but both teams actually have a solo clove each, so they're both limited to those really long smoke cooldowns and not quite anything else to play around with.
Yeah, I think that Yen should be searching out for where this device is consistently and hitting the other side, going for a fast little push, and also just like Disorder, need to go for like maybe a CT push or a link push, as they do not have a sentinel to hold down anything. So even more so.
Really do have to go for the push. And the push from the side of Disorder really should be a thing we would want to see, since Yen, as you said, don't actually have a sentinel, which means the flank is going to be a little bit vulnerable, and they will always have to keep tabs on a flank player.
Yeah,
But
I do
for
want
the
to point out.
side of yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to point out that with the fact that they have 3 initiators, it should be easy enough for them to just go for an early round default, searching out for where this device is hitting the weak side of the map. Especially this round where A is just left completely open. I mean, maybe I think that this composition is actually really good for Yen to search out everyone. So hopefully we do see a slower round than what we just saw.
That is definitely something to pay attention to. If we can hopefully get Natural's game back online as soon as possible. But I also wanted to point out, for the side of Disorder, all of the picks actually also went to Perth and Usman, and sorry, not Usman, Leela, and that means we can probably see a Dimensional Drift or Thresh get online really, really quickly, possibly even in the following round, because of just how all of these orbs were actually really targeted just to 2 people on the team. And
As we
we will
see...
see Natural's game hop back online and have the round timer hopefully be unpaused. And there it goes, the time is ticking and live again, and it looks like they will be heading straight back into a really heavy A push, though I'm not quite sure about this decision to leave Nyx alone on the other side unless they're planning to go towards more of a mid, and this is actually a default. Looks like they're just gonna break Dizzy here, and yeah, they're just actually leaning towards this mid space to try and play around with it. We see Perth's tucked, will get a pick, does have a TP at the top of short, but are they all... Nope, it looks like we won't see Yen being aware enough of Perth, as Perth could have TP'd out, and nope, Nyx will hit a very nice shot to pick off Perth. And Nyx is just barely alive, crouching, as Usman's just gonna run up with the judge and just clean Nyx out. That was, very well played from Perth.
It seems that there's another tech pause going in, so, yeah. I do want to say that that was a very nice round by Disorder coming in with the pinch from A to mid. They're leaving Perth into that A cubby to get that first pick and TP out. And yeah, just Def pushing down all the way down, realizing that no one's holding on to their ace main and pinching into the bottom players. I think that's really well played by Yen and getting this controlled aggression out.
Yeah, we're just seeing Disorder on this defending side. It was really well played to see Perth just walk out, get the picks they needed, and all of a sudden Disorder is actually rearranging themselves and putting themselves back into order as they pick up both their pistol back along with the conversion of their buy-up.
Yeah.
And now we will see Yen have a full buy-up with just a Bulldog in Natural's hands, but still 4 rifles nonetheless.
It seems we're going into a full 5-man take into A, as Yen actually leave it pretty open towards the A side. I think that this could end up really well for them. This should just be a clean little take over here and getting just Yen to that 9th round.
That is definitely what may just snowball their lead back that they really want to try and hold on to. On the other hand, we see Perth on that Yoru with the Dimensional Drift just 1 ult point away for a possible really nice retake as well. And we'll have to see if Perth will try and get this ult orb in Yoru's hands.
Seems that they aren't going to fight for that ult orb. They're just going to go for the mid pick again, hopefully getting that from there.
Yeah,
maybe even into a flank, considering there's no
Eyes up.
considering that there's no sentinel.
it's a
So
really
we'll see how that goes.
interesting decision. But we'll have to see if it pays off. Got a huge stack towards mid. Perth is just going to walk out to the same angle again, as it looks like we're just going to see an overrun elbow as Usman's going to be trapped. Known has the judge, will be able to pick one off as Nyx trades it back. And poor Leela is going to be on site alone. Backup will arrive, pick up one trade as Leela is able to pick one off. And
Right there.
we'll see a little bit of a Stark player.
One enemy remaining.
Recoil's gonna manage to stay alive. Perth will come through, actually pick up that Dimensional Drift from that kill. Exactly. And the teammates does come through for the side of Disorder, tying it ever so closely to that 8-7 scoreline. Just one more round before everything is even again. But yeah.
I think that was huge coming out from Usman and Leela. Just like absolute, just holding down the side, getting their picks, allowing for Disorder to come in with that A flank. I mean, that was just incredible play. What a hold from them.
Yeah, it was a beautiful hold. And Perth is going to walk out to the same angle, which is really interesting. As we see, will a lesson be learned? And Yen is aware. We'll see Perth. And is just going to back off so carefully, as there's already an exec out on the B side. Zephyr is going to get caught off guard and doesn't know that Deftones is already out, and they've just walked out on the site. Recoil in this corner is going to get
Can you hear me?
flashed, gets traded out after getting the pick. And it is down to a 4v3. And actually make that a 4v2 as
Enemy
Disorder
remaining.
is not able to play together as they're getting kicked off left and right. And it's all down to Perth, who won't be able to make the conversion.
hello,
as
can you hear
Nyx
me?
is going to pick up a 4-piece for the side of Yen.
That's gonna give him the Hunter's Fury. I mean, that's going to be a very nice little ult to use, maybe for a post plant. I think that honestly for Yen over here, they need to go for that retake for the Euro ult. I mean, Euro Dimensional Drift. I feel like it's a little bit of a shame just not leaving him lost alive there. I think that they should all be coming offside, letting the Euro flank in, and then going in for side retake. But as we'll see, they're stacking onto the A side.
And we'll see the Dizzy immediately get shot. Top mid is smoked, and all this info is gone. It looks like we're finally gonna see that Dimensional Drift be used, and coming through the flank, Natural has been spotted. It is just one. We have the fake out coming in as the rest of the team goes market, and Natural will get picked off. And suddenly this huge team fight in Boba. And it will not go in the favor for Yen at all, as Yen's just getting sandwiched, absolutely crunched. Bucket will do everything they can, picks off Perths, but will be traded right back. As that Dimensional Drift definitely pays off.
Yeah, what a nice little idea there that Disorder's going for. I mean, just both going for that Dimensional Drift, getting all the mid info that they need, taking off Natural, and then notifying the team that they're going in for that mid-market crunch. And just that hold from Disorder going very well. I loved how Layla played it, getting that frag off, and then leaving it into a 2v4. I mean, just perfect.
Looks like this Dizzy is just immediately gonna get shot again as well. Quite interesting to see the same things happen, and this elbow is a long line. Usman's going to get reconned, will have to back off because of that out drone dart, and picks off a beautiful shot on Nyx, which is traded right back in mid-side in numbers, as Disorder is investing a showstopper, but Yen is nowhere to be seen. Yen is entirely already on the B-side. Zephyr will get picked off, and that'll open up B-side entirely, since that was their Sensi's hold. And they're just going to go straight into backside. Stealth drone is going to be used, clears that market entirely, and all of a sudden, it is not looking quite good for the side of Disorder, as Yen's going to get the showstopper. And it's all down to Usman, who's going to get 2 picks, almost makes something happen, but is eventually going to be traded back and shut down.
A huge round for Yen to win, and that showstopper was so crucial, shutting down the Thrash there by Layla. And a little bit of a disappointing showstopper coming up for Disorder and Usman, killing out the air main, but not being able to get any impact off it. And also, I just feel like Zeph over there playing a little bit too aggressively, considering that they had 3 on A. He needed to play behind his Sentinel utility, and the fact that he wasn't able to just shut it down and got them a free B side.
I would actually like to see Yen try and maybe possibly even punish, knowing the Sentinel's always there. Gunfights are already being exchanged all over a lobby, and the trades go absolutely into Disorder's favor in dominant fashion, as it's all down to Bucket with just not quite an idea on what just happened. All the teammates dropping like flies behind him, and the unfortunate timing will give recoil. A quick shot in the back to finish off the round and bring Disorder up to 9-10. One step closer to tying the score up, as we see the first tag timeout being used by the side of Yen, needing to really just stop this pace, trying to figure out what they can break through. The economy is not in the best situation. Probably would like to see a lot of their ults being used, since they have got impactful ults all around their composition.
I mean, that ult build-up is just very crucial. They can even get an ult before bucket over here to get into that A side, or maybe even go for a post-plant ult. Whereas we look at the side of Disorder, who, besides the Yoru Dimensional Drift, everybody else is pretty far off, or at least halfway. So they're gonna need at least a 2 or 3k to get to even up these ults. I mean, yeah, I think they're going to go for an aggressive play here.
Do you
No?
see the ping on the minimap towards this B main space? It looks like it's looking towards maybe being a fake, or no, everyone will be heading back towards A.
Weapons up.
It
Guns
looks
open.
like they just really want to ignore the Vice, since they should know that the entire setup usually has always been seen on B. Perth is just going to get caught out on A, which a little bit of a overread swing. And
missing
the
the flash
trades will
there.
go back for Leela, as this is just going to be a very much slowed down round after a quick trade back and forth. But it will work out in Disorder's favor, since it was just a Yoru picking off the only recon info aside from that stealth drone that just popped mid for Yen. So it's not going to be the easiest site hit unless they can coordinate their util. And the round's just going to be really slowed down, as Disorder's just going to just do a little bit of shuffling around, try and read and understand what is going on. And Yen's just going to be looking for a pick, particularly. The readers come in as we see a rotate with a stack towards A for Disorder. Leela just taking a little bit of a note mid, notices Bucket, and
30
Bucket doesn't
seconds
know they
left.
were spotted.
Go
So,
ahead.
oh, and Zephyr's
Stand your
actually going to get
ground.
picked off as the walk into market finds its mark. The Armageddon invested, and Bucket picks up another one of the Disorder's team.
Last player standing.
And Deftone's just gonna pick up an insane kill, spraying through a smoke, as Usman is down to a 1v4. Possibly doable, but not likely, as Mist will catch the timing and pick them off.
Maybe a bit of a communication error there. Not unawareness into the door being broken, but Bucket just lurks up, killing Zephyr, leaving the B-side open again. I mean, this is just... Yen needs to do something big here, because these ults are being built up. And with Hunter's Fury on, with the Breach ult coming up, I just don't see what they can really do to even up these odds. I mean, they still have no one with ults. Maybe a Dimensional Drift if they can get one on Perth, but it's looking good for Yen.
Yeah, over this lead with all of their ult economy online, but they're finally trying to take advantage of knowing that the Vice is always playing B. The Shear gets triggered and the Razor Vines popped, and half the util is just going to get used up like that, as we see a free slow lock up by Nyx, who's might get timing here, will get timing by Usman. Quite unfortunate, as Usman's going to just slow down this lurk up and make Yen have to think twice. But again, Yen still does recoil, also getting flashed by Vice on B. And Usman is stuck on site alone. Natural picks up the top short player, and that just leaves Usman alone on site. Will get picked off, and this will end up being a 3v3 retake, but it does not look good in favor of Disorder just yet, as we still see the Rolling Thunder for the side of Yen. The fault line is being held out,
enemy
not
remaining.
being invested, as Mist just picks up two, simple like that. Perth is coming out through short, finally arrives, will pick off one, and there is a lot to ask for here
Last
from
player
Perth.
standing.
Will get the first pick, not dead yet, is available, immediately gets invested, half is
One
able to be
enemy remaining.
reached, and Perth just might get away with this, but Bucket is going to find the shots, land on Perth,
Match
and
point.
with 0.04 seconds to spare, they will be claiming their map point for map 1.
What a round just there. Perth getting onto that Euro ult. Sorry, the Clove ult, and then getting up to half, but Natural coming in with the spray, getting that 0.04 seconds. I mean, that was just insane. And also, I want to point out, everybody had such an impactful round. Usman there, I believe there was Mist there as well, getting that 2k. Just
And
incredible
Zephyr's
work.
just out of position. The paint shell's just gonna come in, chips a little bit of damage. Wall, the shear already tripped, and Stealth Throw even catches Zephyr. So the Razor Vines can't even be popped. As Yen's just gonna walk out on site, pick off Leela in market, scaling up site together. And Zephyr's just stuck backside with the Judge, with just nothing that can really be done.
Off your feet!
Looks like we're just even gonna see the Rolling Thunder be invested, and
One enemy
Yen
remaining.
just will completely snowball the starting picks. Usman is pushed back. A push through the guiding salvos will not find its
Attackers
mark,
win.
but Natural, following their guiding salvos, will definitely follow up and pick up the kill.
I mean, completely overwhelmed by the old economy saved out by Yen. And looks like they're going to be going up, taking up that first map from Sunset.
Was a beautiful showing from Yen, snowballing that economy completely, and Deftones taking the MVP with 7 first bloods on the board. Really showing that entry, the kills are there, the first bloods are there, and with the ults there is just not enough that Disorder's going to be able to do to try and take that map back. Looks like it was possible for a few moments until one timeout and Yen just cleaned it all back up.
Yeah, it was a very nice little it looked like a nice little comeback coming for Yen after that A4 half. I mean, not for Yen, for Disorder. But unluckily for them, Yen was just able to play out these attacking rounds more cleanly, getting up to that old economy, and by the end it was just impossible to do anything.
Yeah, the alt economy could have possibly been kind of refreshed for the side of Disorder, but after a couple rough rounds and a rough half to begin with, it was just a little too late as Yen finally pieced themselves back together after losing the first couple rounds, even losing their buy-up to the bonus, but immediately coming back with the eco, and after one timeout, snowballing their ultimate economy to just overwhelm Disorder completely. I also probably would have liked to see a little bit more of a variety from the Vice setup when we noticed in the later half, since we did notice just the absolute punishment from seeing the out of position Zephyr on top of knowing that Vice just always seemed to be playing towards that site, and just a little bit too easy to read with the ult economy.
Yes, I'd
Just
also like to point
helping
out
them.
that the Zayaf was actually having a pretty rough map on there, as many things were going wrong for them. Taking first off that, sometimes trying to go to aggressive B main, getting picked off, or even sometimes going for that, they're just having like bucket look up one round, getting the kill. I mean, he's just having a really tough time. If just they had some variety into that buy setup, maybe setting up some A sometimes, maybe getting that A aggression out, or going for mid control would have helped them out there, because it was just really predictable on what Disorder's game plan was going to be. It was mainly just taking A and then having Vise hold up B, and that just doesn't really work when you have triple initiator and being able to push off the Vise from taking use of that thorns and shear. So maybe for the next map we are trying to look for more variety in the setups into what Disorder was going to do.
It was really interesting to see that this was also Disorder's pick after banning Ascent, since Sunset kind of is like a little bit similar to a extent with the way the map is just set up. And Yen just showed that they just wing a comp and they have the team synergy and the ability to just play off each other, understand, invest their ults when they needed them, when they found the gap, just like that last round where just the extra tiny bit of space that they got for free just helped them snowball their entire arsenal forwards and just run over the entire disorder. Just was not in the favor of disorder for that map, but we will have to see for the next upcoming map of Lotus, as both teams, will they have to switch sides? I do not believe so. But a fight is going to have to be put off. We're going to need to see those ults and the team play come in if we want to see any chance of a comeback and a chance to see a decider happening for disorder. And we'll just have to see how well they can piece themselves back up together.
I mean,
If
this one's especially important for switch ups by disorder, because for Lotus, you're gonna have to be baiting and switching on which side which side you're hitting, whether it be A or C. And another interesting idea I want to bring up is with these comps, which is, are both teams going to go for that Clove again for that suboptimal pick? Because I mean, with Clove you get more firepower, but especially on a three-sided map that both are going to be going to Lotus and maybe even Haven, I would like to probably see an Omen or an Astra.
yeah, Omen probably should be an expected pick because just the paranoia and how helpful it is for so many places on Lotus, especially with the Shrouded Steppes being one of the most flexible maps with the Shrouded Steppe usage, taking rubble really quickly or getting into some space really quickly, and just the variety of elevations you can find. But we will have to wait and see once again for both these teams to see if they will be able to bring this back and what team comp they are going to put on show for us.
Yes, it was a very close map, 9-13, but it was on Disorder's map pick, so we'll be seeing how they can adapt to this Lotus. Maybe they are less prepared for it than on Sunset, so we'll be seeing how it goes for them. But I do believe that this will be another close match as we go into many fights.
It will also see just how much Yen is going to be ready and aggressive to actually take back any space that they lose, since one thing that's going to have to be paid a lot of attention to is just the amount of map control each team is going to go for. As, again, with Lotus, just needing to take at least A or C and giving up the other side is just so crucial, because if you lose both sides, it just really makes that the info and the ability to rotate really start to struggle and not be able to make it in time ever, really.
I fully agree. I mean, especially with how we looked at it on Sunset, where both of these teams were just fighting over for that A control on main. I think it'll be very interesting to see how that transfers onto Lotus, because I mean, it's a pretty similar idea. And throughout that thing, it was actually Disorder winning a lot of those A fights. So maybe this can favor them a bit on Lotus.
And it will, of course, come down to the team comps. And I'm gonna have to be honest, I don't really want to pick favorites, but I gotta say that looking at the Sunset gameplay and just how the teams have been playing together, Yen's ability to just play around with the rotations and playing around the map has just looked so good.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I mean, they just had a much better understanding of what was going on. Their macro just looked a lot better, and they had the coordination on both sides were pretty good, but overall it favored Yen a lot more. I mean, it's so far Yen is just looking to take the series 2-0, but we'll be seeing how it goes as
There's a
Disorder are
lot.
definitely not out. They have a very good chance of winning this map.
There's a lot. They definitely do. There's a lot on the line and a lot of expectations and bars that are going to have to be raised. But we will have to see, looking at how these trades are going to do and see if Disorder might end up coming back with a little bit more of comfort coming into Lotus and seeing if they can get the aim duels and the map spacing and play to start leaning towards their way. We will have to wait and see once teams are ready, as we shortly get ready to hop into Lotus for our map 2 to see if Disorder can bring their game back and tie the points back up 1-1, or whether we are going to be seeing Yen hop out with a quick and swift 2-0. We'll just have to wait and see.
Seems like we're going for a 10-minute break here as we wait for both teams to be ready. Yeah.
And if we have one available, we may just have to have a little break and hop off until both teams are ready, but definitely excited to see in Lotus just what team comps these teams are going to be coming up with, but we will be back in around 5 minutes and see how it goes. So
Yeah. See you guys later.
Alrighty, we will be hopping back into the action as we agent select on Lotus, and hope everyone else had an amazing break, as we will be looking to what we will be witnessing for Lotus, as we see an immediate Omen lock in for Disorder,
Oh,
and Yen will once again be on the defenders. Quite an interesting comp, to say the least, looking at Disorder's lineup. Triple Duelist, probably not going to be what we're going to be seeing, unfortunately, but that
Oh.
would be a really interesting game to witness, for
Oh,
sure.
but Disorder's hovering the chamber with locking in the chamber for this map, as both teams are looking towards. But I mean, very interesting comp by Disorder, having that double duelist potentially being on the stage with a chamber, lacking maybe of that bit of that utility if they go for that Reyna, but sticking with Yoru. But yeah, as we look at if we look at Yen's comp, they're going for more standard Breach Neon comp potentially with Fade, so I think that they're going to win a lot of these A fights more, but we'll be seeing how they like to play. I think that with Disorder's comp, you will have to be going a lot for more defaults, a lot less A takes. But both teams notably not running the Rays, so they will not be having any nades utility available.
Yen is still going to have that fault line up and the relay boards as well if they do want to go for some sort of push. Possibly not exactly damage, but the stall is there. What also really surprises me is seeing both teams lock in the chamber, just single trademarks for both sides to try and hold down the flank. And again, this isn't pre-nerf chamber. The trademark does also have its own limit, and it's going to really limit the possibilities of where you're going to be able to get that info from the Sentinel to try and hold down spaces.
Also notably, we have Fodz stepping in for Disorder, so we'll see how his performance goes as well, as he sits on the Fade.
This team synergy is going to have to be something to pay attention to. And as we start round one, it looks like there's going to be a heavy push towards the C site. Natural's going to walk by, doesn't notice that Usman's been here sitting. And Usman's just going to pick two, gets caught off by Deftones, as Deftones will pick up the trade and hold the flank. And another timing, as Leela just walks back into the smoke, notices missed, gets traded back by Bucket, as Bucket picks off the drop player and turns around, picks off Leela, and it is down to a 2v2 retake. With both the defending side together, and Puff is just gonna quickly take that dink off. And it's become a 2v1, but really separated players for Disorder. And Deftones can make this happen. Deftones really could, if Deftones is able to land the shot on Foss. And Foss is going to get the shot in and through, as we see the pistol round go to the side of Disorder.
What a round with so many different timings over there, especially with Natural not being able to see out, Usman getting the two. But in the end, I think what was really important was the fact that the Fade Eye cleared out CT, knowing that Deftones was coming through that smoke. I think that, yeah, we are going to another tech pause, by the way, but this is we're gonna see if the lack of info actually from like both teams going to maybe affect them, but
the amount of customs where I just can't help but the amount of tech forces, it really makes it quite an experience to witness.
yeah, it's
But anyways, past that, we are going to be looking at Yen on a very light buy, and we see Zephyr reconnect to the game, and we should be able to start shortly. We will see any moment now. The live timer start ticking back down. But back to the game, we will see a very heavy stack from Yen towards his A side, really trying to go for a heavy push and just take a quick pick, a quick gun, whatever they can manage, with the opposite side being pushed.
Yeah, a completely two different reads by both teams going into the favor of Disorder. We do see they're going for that A rush, maybe into the flank, but with the with the trademark being up, and also looking like Usman's going to be on that A side, getting all that info. This should be a nice quick little wrap for Disorder to take C.
Usman is going to be sitting back on this A side with a little bit of luck, holding the Outlaw, which worries me a little bit with the swing out possibly that we're going to see. And if Usman's going to get away with any of their life, nope, they will immediately have their head taken with a beautiful headhunter shot, as we see the execute coming out on C from Disorder. Quickly going to get this bomb down. Bomb will be planted from Mound, and that's going to make this retake much harder for Yen with their very light eyes. Deftones is going to be close, dodges the Prowler, gets a quick pick. Voss will trade one back, but on the wrong person, and Deftones, after getting Perth, will fall to the superior guns. And the Outlaw is showing the Outlaw that they got at the very start of the round, which is going to help. A Natural gets a beautiful shot, and they've converted their eco really well.
That was getting that Outlaw, I think, was super crucial onto that pick from Usman. Also Death right there, getting a 2k onto the CT pushes. I mean, that just really saved them and helped them win that eco. And I quite like the idea from Disorder actually going in for that CT push, but unfortunately they are not able to find the picks, getting them into the round loss.
For sure, just too much util coming back behind, and there just wasn't enough space and util for them to play around with and take the CT fully. And we see Usman again peeking into their deaths as Leela's TP'd across. Leela will get spotted, could get sprayed through. The Prowler even gets the tag on, and Leela could just get overrun here. Their teammates can be there in time. Zephyr is going to take one pick back, get one more shot, which will actually get Nyx down to really low health as everything's slowed down. Disorder's just gonna be trying to feel the way around, just popping a gate crash immediately, no fear whatsoever. Pops the flash, and Perth is going to overwhelm this. Nyx gets the pick straight back on Zephyr. Sees will go in, does not quite catch Perth, but actually does catch Perth after walking back in. And both players will know where Perth is, and Perth eventually will get wrapped, and Mist will claim the last kill before Perth is able to get anything done.
Yeah, it seems like Disorder's going for a lot of those 4-1 pushes where they're just leaving Usman on an island to get a bit of control, maybe get a pick here too, but it has not worked out for them.
I would like to see Usman definitely get active, maybe somewhere else, playing a little bit more on timings. And the Nightfall will also be online for Disorder, for them to try and do anything around this utility. As we hop into 4th round, we're looking again at a nice fast A push. Leela will have TP'd across, but will get tagged by the Horn. Leela gets the kill back, actually, but will get claimed and traded by the Aftershock. And there's just too much gunfire, too many angles, as Yen's just gonna hop up and claim A site and shut Disorder out, forcing Disorder to take this little funneled path through to B. Trademark will get broken, all the info is gained, but site has already been taken. Usman picks up one last kill on main. Nyx is spotted, and Deftones gets a kill from after using from the shadows. Gets 2. for a 3-piece and picks up all
It's a
4 with
four.
beautiful shots.
What a flick! Oh my god, from the shadows bringing in so much impact after Usman got the kill. What a round by Deftones right there.
The value absolutely invested, no idea where the TP came in when the From the Shadows was invested, and it was not there for the side of Disorder. And
Deftones really being the MVP player from the last game. I mean, what a round by him, saving up Yen over here.
going up to 8-3, and an op for the side of Yen. On this defensive side, this is going to be tough for Disorder to try and break through, as they really have to find a way to break through and stop this snowball. Layla has TP'd across, but still gets marked by the Haunt, is going to swing a little bit too far alone and gets picked off. And the smokes will no longer be there, as
There.
Yen is
Spike
just
down
saying,
A.
absolutely no, you won't, is not afraid to fight this spot, and 4 players all pushing up through A. Spike has been dropped, and a flank by Mist with the operator will go down. Natural picks up a 2nd and 3rd, and cleans up the entirety of A lobby, following those breach flashpoints.
Yeah, just completely in disarray. I mean, they're having Layla peek off of this first contact, but she's losing it quite a bit, and then from that, they're just losing their smokes, peeking into them 1v1, and not finding the picks. I mean, it's just the coordination is completely on Yen's side. Well, I would like to see more double swings, more utility to help out these players when they swing out, but unfortunately, it has not happened yet.
Looks like we're looking at equal buys as well, as we see an investment of the tour de force for Usman as they make their way slowly out A. Haunt is going to not catch Natural, as Natural's just going to be walked past. The Cloudburst comes in to push past the one-ways that have gone on C, and Natural will get a flash, will not be able to find a pick, and Mist claims the kill on Usman, shutting that up tour de force. And it is not quite looking too good for Disorder, as Disorder just does not have the space. They're getting shut down everywhere and can't find anything.
Seems that post was just spotted by Mist right there.
And
Going in the gate crash. Oh, TP fixes it out completely.
the gate crash back into spawn really just sells a bit of a fake then, but Perth may just be a little bit too loud. These comms could be coming in if they hear any your util here. We see the flash come in, and
Mike's
this
stuck on
just
me,
30
making
seconds
me-
left.
the rotate is coming through to B. The doors open. Perth
Spike
peeks,
down
but his
B.
solo picks off.
Last player standing.
And Disorder just can't find any angles that'll work out for them. Zephyr could make something work, and very well almost did. But Mr. will shut that down and will not let that happen.
What a nice
as-
little try by Zephyr there. Going for that spray, but unfortunately not connecting with it. I mean, that was actually looking like a good round for Disorder, getting into that C main, but just getting that wrong read over there and hitting B side instead of C.
Yen is just too ready for anything that happens. All that utility dump coming into B, and Disorder just get absolutely paralyzed on the spot. Mist has pushed out, has a little bit of a far angle with the operator as Usman slowly peeking their way, will lose to the angle advantage, and Mist is actually going to just barely get out of there alive with that operator, but Usman's going to fully claim that space as Natural goes for a peek, picks up one right before getting blinded, and Perth trades it right back with the Bucky. Cannot get the jump peek fully, and Deftones picks the trade
Cover going
right
out.
back. And Deftones could just be getting away. Smoke in the air,
down,
really good
C.
distraction.
One
Foss is
enemy
not ready
remaining.
for the peek. Mist picks up on the other side Usman, who's trying to slowly lurk up. Zephyr will take the guns and invests the Blade Storm, trying to make something work, but it is a 1v3. Mist is walking up, is not ready for Mist to be sitting there with the operator, as Zephyr will not be able to convert.
And unfortunate round there again for Disorder. I mean, it started off really nice with Usman getting that angle advantage onto Zephyr, onto Usman, forcing him to TP out. But unfortunately, that C control was not there for them, and that jump peak for Perth was blocked by the wall, actually, getting them that second pick.
Just didn't
Does
expect
anyone have
Deftones to be
funds?
so close, and Deftones just
Merci.
in the right place at the right time, hitting the right shots,
Who's
and
next?
Mist is back in the same spot, has a tour de force. No one is going to peek because the dimensional drift
Here.
will give all the information needed. They know exactly where this tour de force is,
I'm back.
and Perth will fully, using the ultimate, clear outside. And Mist is just going to slowly sit behind here. Two
Spike
judges
planted.
looking right at each other. And Mist will come out as the victor, hitting a second tour de force shot, picking up 2. The Nightfall gets invested along with the paranoia from Hawes. Flashpoint coming into Elbow as the 2 players backside are getting dumped over Brennan with Util. And Deftone's just going to pick 2 up, simple as that, cleanly. And that's just going to give Yen the 7th round as they are seriously snowballing their lead.
Flawless.
No way for Disorder to answer back.
I mean, ever since that posted round, Disorder are unable to get off the starting point from there. This is going to be another tech pulls out for Nashville to come back in as the DC'd. But yeah, it's not a great showing from Disorder right now, as they aren't even able to win any of these fights getting the plant down. The flash over there unfortunately did not be able to connect onto Mist and being able to lead to a 2k lead. I mean, it's just murder on the sides.
Mist just absolutely getting away with whatever Havoc they can find, and Havoc did they bring with an immediately follow-up with the tour de force, getting a second pick on Leela, who's just slightly out of position and slowed, and the 2 players last, ending up stuck just in bend, nowhere to run, Util overridden from every angle, and there's just not a lot you can do when you're left in that situation. Another part I wanted to point it out was the ultimates and just the team compositions. It definitely is showing a bit just how hard it is for Disorder with the amount of utility they have and the lack of impact their ultimates can bring if they just can't use them well together. And
Yeah.
still, Yen have the Rolling Thunder online, which is another huge retake on top of the overdrive that could just follow straight through. And if I don't know about anyone else, but sometimes overdrive in the right hands can do the most insane damage.
Yeah, it's the main problem in right now for Disorder, I feel like, is the lack of utility of these swings. I mean, even if with there's no stun coming in, right, because of the lack of utility, and they were only really relying on Yoru for flash, but they're also using him quite a bit for the entry, so there's not quite a lot left, especially with the fact that, as you just saw, they were going in for that waterfall control, which I do quite like, but the Yoru flash just not be able to catch on. I mean, if they had a better comp such as like Breach or something, a stun could come in to help out Yoru onto these entries. So a little bit of a missed opportunity with this comp, I feel.
Zephyr is going to be going very light on that Marshall. Looks like they really might just be aiming to get an op online if they can as soon as possible, because without that operator, it just looks like Disorder's really struggling to take any space and try and really make anything work. But again, I think we've seen this for a couple of rounds, but the Nightfall is still online after the Nightfall was invested from Yen. And we really want to see Foss probably try and invest this Nightfall, make it work. Hopefully some sort of plan can quickly be made, and Zephyr will be hopping back on an AR, probably not thinking an op would be a great idea just yet, possibly waiting until defense, but no idea how many rounds of defense will be available for them to work with
Decoy.
if they can't find some place, some way to break through what has seemed like a really solid and team-based defense that Yen has been showing up with.
Yeah, especially with the fact that they have Nightfall and from the shadows, I would like to see a nice little all combination going through. As the Nightfall covers up some audio's bombs.
We see Relay Bolt come in. The fake out going to be immediately shot. Deftones picks up one, Mist takes up a C pick on the other side of the map, and Natural's gonna pick up two. And instantly, Usman's alone in sport, and Mist is already up with an op. And there is just literally nothing, no breathing room that is being given to Disorder at all.
Yeah,
As just
that was such a fast round. Usman just left on the island there. The first 10 seconds in, his whole team is dead. And it was unfortunate. No one could find a pick on for Disorder.
it's just nothing.
getting
that
run
can be
down.
done.
The utility is not there. The coordination's not there. One by one.
There needs to be a really well-played team
Other
from.
charges.
That looks like they're going for a B side, which Yen has a complete read on. Leela doesn't get blinded. Immediately picking Natural off. Deftones is still going to be here. Dodges the fault line and TP's out back towards B side. The door will be opening as Mist looks for any support that can be provided, but slowly pushes up with the one way. We can see the peek up. Zephyr actually has the off online, gets a pick right back, and Leela's just gonna invest the from the shadows to get out of their spot. As the push starts coming in towards this A side, we heard a gate crash, but Perths will get caught out jumping as smoke gets popped onto A to try and fake some sort of presence or just make it a little bit harder to clear, but the link door will be broken. Smoke comes into the top of B. Haunt comes in, clears, verifies there's no space as Zephyr is going to be chilling and breakable with the op. Misses a shot, which unfortunately would have been humongous, but immediately hits right back on Nyx, and Deftones think they have the timing, but Zephyr's completely ready for it with the read, picks it off, and Bucket is nodding up and down, not ready, as Foss swings and picks up the free kill
Whatever
to
happens,
get
Saki.
Disorder back into the game.
Yeah, finally another round with Zephyr picking up a huge 3k with the operator, the world they were saving up for. And that was just a much better take. They were playing more passively onto that A fight. And then really got rewarded for it. And that B read was fantastic by Disorder. Completely faking out Yen. But is this enough? Will they be able to get tempo or not from this round?
And Zephyr is going to be going for an immediate swing, gets the instant pick on Nyx again as Zephyr makes such good use of the op, gets the value out of it, and it looks like this op attack was just what they needed. Mist is going to miss a shot, TP's back into Bend, but
They
the
found
team
my
is
trap.
ready here to back Mist up, as there's actually a silent stack towards C that sort of might not be ready for. Usman gets a pick through the smoke. Really nice game sense. And a read. And the execute will come out through. Mist is going to be blinded by the
Last
paranoia,
player
isn't
standing.
able to recover in time as Usman gets a kill, but will get traded by Natural, and
Spike
Leela's going to
planted.
be tucking, sitting close in the smoke, and it's all down to Natural in a 1v3 to see if they can make this out. 1v4 make that, and a gate crash sent to C long, probably not going to be needed, as looks like Natural probably won't be going for a save and just going to be looking for all the damage they can get away with since they have the money they need. But how many kills can they get away with? Does get spotted, knows the exact positioning of where Natural is, so Disorder is on top of where Natural is, upholding the flank. There's nothing that can be done as Zephyr is going to claim up the kill and is actually
Last
going
round
to
in the half.
extend this comeback a little bit further if they can make their way up.
Oh, I mean, Zephyr's just doing everything for the team, and getting that off pick is so crucial for them. I mean, it's just that off finding so much value, and also I found that Omen Blind by the Paranoia by Layla was super good onto the CT, getting into that position, and then after getting that pick, falling back and playing with the rest of the team.
We're going to be heading into the round once again. It's back to a default A hit. Poor Zephyr gets caught out this time, completely prepared for the up jump out, and Leela hits a miracle shot to get natural off. As all of A will still be taken by Yen, but nowhere else is able to be picked up on because the trades have been coming back and forth. Mist is so ready for Perth to be lurking up the same place for what I believe was a third round in a row, as B will get picked up by Bucket, and all of the comms should be coming in. Mist, knowing that the execute is now coming out on C, one even possibly pushing into C, and just playing
Spike
really far
planted.
back for the retake, so disciplined, waiting for the teammates to arrive, and arrive they do. 3 people ready to come out through long. Usman will get one pick, gets straight out. Deftones will get the pick after just using a shrouded step straight into backside. But the unfortunate timing as the smoke dissipates, and Layla will pick up a multi-kill to actually get all of these scores back up.
Yeah.
And it's looking winnable again.
Yeah, that was an amazing pull. As can they hear us? But I think that C's ability into that shadow step was looking like a really great idea, completely catching out Foz. But Layla getting that double pick was it was crucial for that round win. I mean, I thought it was over after Zephyr was not be able to find that first pick for them.
It was going so fast, I'm not even sure I quite catched it, but I think it was a knife or a prowler that actually also deafened Foss, and there just wasn't the audio cue for the shrouded step, giving a free entry onto a box on backside and getting the pick. But luckily, teammates were able to get the round right back with an unfortunate timing of the smoke decaying and the gun just not ready to be out yet.
Yeah, as they go into switching sides, I mean, it's not a great half for an A4 Lotus when you want to go for an attack, but it was a really good recovery considering it was an 8-1 1 point. So
The other interesting part without, again, as you mentioned at the start of the game, with the lack of the rays or the mollies, and just really the fault line from Bucket that can be really used for any A push potential, what does Disorder actually have here if they really want to fight this A side?
yeah, I mean, it's going to be lacking. They can try for a Paranoia Seas, but they can't really follow up with it. So they will have to just out mechanics their way into this A fight, which so far has not been going too well for them.
We'll have to wait and see to see if they can make the teamwork come through, but Layla won't have the angle for sure to TP up to Rubble and Paranoia from Breakable and then break the door, so it's going to be a really tough fight, but Perth could possibly gate crash up, just lacking any sort of silence, and it's going to be really obvious if there were any fight to be attempted, but if they can take A, it may as well make it worth it if they can make it work. Otherwise, Perth is going to be stuck out, since do note that a Frenzy is bought in the hands of Perth, and they would not have the utility they might want if they were to pick up 2 gate crashes, one for going into Rubble and one for getting out on top of buying that gun. It's not going to be the easiest A fight for Disorder, and whether from a read or from just being in the right place, it looks like Yen's all ready to capitalize on it. Perth will immediately get flashed. Haunt comes in, picks up that Natural's already crossed Rubble, so they're going to have to be aware of this. Perth definitely is trying to be aware of it, and Nyx picks up 1 kill on any lurk-up B. C will also go down, as Perth is going to try and TP using the gate crash that was all the way on C to try and make anything happen, any comms come through or picks, which just gets shut down by Mist. And the entirety
Spike planted.
of Yen is
Last player
alive,
standing.
playing, shots hitting, Foss will be able to get missed, but it is not there as Yena start toying with their food
Getting
and
onto the knife
pick
pick
up
too
the
fast.
knife kill.
It was an interesting idea from Disorder as they find out that as they don't have this mini utility, they just push out all three sides because they know they can't hold it, they can't be there on the double duelist. And it's just
Disrespect is
not there
also
for them.
so the disrespect. You really can't be doing this like this. It's still 9-4. It's anyone's game, but it has not been looking too good for Disorder. And again, Natural
gets
just opens and paves the way open to A with a quick 2 headshots lining perfectly up on the angle. Relay bolt comes in as we're gonna look at the high gear, head straight in. Not even the slide needing to be used. Seeing one in the corner will immediately get knifed by Natural as the Mist is gonna swing out and take the CT kill to defend Natural.
He learns from the best.
Oh,
This is just...
this is sad
This
to
is
watch.
demoralizing. This is not... This is not what Disorder need right now, and
Yeah, just nothing's going right for them. I mean,
there will need to be some major adjustment if they want to try and make something work. They're
But it's
trying to
looking like-
fight for A now because they don't have the power, but
it's the
Yen
wrong
has the
read.
read. We've got the
Zephyr's
TP
possible out.
across. There's just no way for Zephyr to contest this at all. The entire team from Disorder trying to rush over the C, but the execute is so fast. The paranoia comes in. Zephyr can't even hold on to an inch of sight as they're smoked out of sight, and sight is taken. The bomb planted for Mound, and Layla tries to get a pick, gets traded out immediately. Sprays come through from every direction. And actually,
One enemy
Disorder have
remaining.
somehow come out on top.
Usman gets two. Usman gets two on the
Usman
flank.
takes both the exits, coming out trying to evacuate to Mound, and by a miracle of trades and swings, Disorder comes out on top with 3 guns. What a round and a series of trades. Zephyr's going to be a little bit broke for this round as well, but we'll get by a teammate.
I mean, that's everything Disorder needed. That was incredible to see that happen. Getting the wrong read, but able to frag their way out, and Usman on the flare, it was beautiful.
Capitalizing immediately with that buy, something they absolutely needed for a fighting chance. And we will see Usman sitting in a corner, gets TP's out after getting stunned. Relay bolt comes in. Natural's just gonna jump in like a Neon does. The most distracting agent ever. Usman's really looking for the pick, just can't find it. Deftones picks up one on the other side, and
Spike planted.
there's just nothing Disorder can do. Again,
Oh no.
can Usman make another miracle happen? Gets one. The knives are coming out. Usman does have a headhunter, and all the numbers have been thrown away
Oh, this
by
is
the
new.
side of Yen. The trademark
That's not
will
ready.
get shot. Prowler gets shot. Knows that they're both there.
Player
Usman's
standing.
already walked out.
One
Gets a
enemy
pick.
remaining.
Traded back by Nyx.
find
Still a
you.
chance. Nyx chucks the eye into the little hole, but does not catch on a Foss just yet. But will Foss be expecting Nyx to be in this close corner? A tap on the bomb. Knows that they're off. Just distracting time. And Nyx is just playing full on for this time. They're out of time. And Nyx is just gonna play the time game, and Disorder will not be allowed any chance back into the game
Yeah,
at all.
Yen almost punished for their taunting over there. Close to losing the round, but unfortunately, Foz was not able to find the pick onto Nyx as he plays it beautifully, just baiting it out for time.
Definitely almost did throw away, but in a very good position still for Yen, but that was a costly round. Seeing half the team hopping onto light shield, but 2 of the forces are
You want
both
to
up.
play?
That's one
Let's
gun to
play.
each side. A slide from Natural immediately takes one shot away from the tour de force, and Leela just gets completely sprayed through the wall. Perth does get one back on C side, trying to stay alive, maintaining this C space, trying to fight for one side. Both players get flashed, but Perth is very much known, goes for
Spike down. C.
an interesting use of util, pops a fake out, gets shot, and gets one, and actually gets out. And the numbers have been evened up 3-3. Both tour de force is still alive, but Natural has somehow found themselves in whatever this position is. The trademark does get spotted, but Foss is just going to be picked up for the kill since that trademark was there and nothing that could have been done about it. And the site opens up, Usman going for a flank, a tour de force just staring into the depths of CT. Is Usman ready for this? Is not ready as Miss Swings out catches the trade off the teammate. Dimensional Drift actually being invested. Knows where both players are, but both of them also know where Perth is. Will they be able to get the wide swing? Almost works out, but can't find the shots they need to land. And Yen's victory is snowballing, bringing them to match point for this best of 3.
I mean,
And a
everything's
lot
just
of
going
leeway.
right for Natural right now. He's just finding all the good timings. A great kill onto Foz right there, opening up the base side. This is really just Yen dominating on this map. I mean, they don't really have Disorder don't really have an option on what to do.
Disorder's best hope, I feel, is just trying to do something, just get this Nightfall online. Perth is already getting an opening pick, Usman getting another pick. It could just get them back into the game. Perth uses the same fake out, still works. Prowler comes in, will find Perth, knows that Perth is still there and not yet TP'd out, but we see the Nightfall go online as Foss does pick up an orb. Mist is already lurked all the way through. B picks up a free kill on unexpected Perth as Leela is left to the lonesome to hold site. Cannot get anything done after the haunt scan and leaving it up to a 3v3 retake, which will not be the easiest. Nightfall's online. Both teams, Usman just barely sees ahead, gets the pick. Mist is stuck, is known. And a flashpoint will come in, does not catch Usman, and Usman is also known now. And actually, Usman's the one who's now trapped. If they can fight together, but they don't, and Usman's just gonna claim the 2 kills and
What a
get
huge round!
a 4 apiece for this round.
And also there was the fact that there was no trademark back into the flank. Allowed for Zephyr to get into that flank, so either way it would have been most likely Disorder's round. But what a play by Usman. And as we lead into a 12-6, could this be another NRG versus C9 play as the players point out, or is this Yen going to close it out?
Yen do have very well of a chance. Both Nightfalls still online, both from the shadows also online, and Yen with a slight advantage, having an overdrive should they need it, which they just might if their autonomy gets hurt here, and the push gets shut down from Disorder, from the shadows invested, but unable to get the value that they really needed to try and get. Flanks already online, and Perth just ready to try and claim and pick up the kills. Perth will pick up 2, and the read was a Yen actually weren't able to really capitalize off of any of the util or the push that they wanted to try and get out of that. And the super fast flank from Perth's just capitalizing, picking off the last 2 players in an insane amount of pace.
Yeah, the door opening by Disorder was a great play, getting out into that extra play for help onto the A5.
And as we hop into round number 20, the match points are slowly ticking down. And really, the overdrive is immediately invested. It looks like that Yen just need to do something, want to do something, get active, and get active. Natural does, picking up 2 with the overdrive as Foss is left to their own devices, trying to get help, and hits a nice shot onto natural, but Mist knows one around the corner, gets traded out, but oh no.
Enemy remaining.
Foz gets
Foss
4.
is on 4, knows where Bucket is because the Rolling Thunder came in, but Bucket just has to play time here. Fault line online is going to get invested immediately, does not catch Foss, but Foss is 1 HP. Will they be able to pull off the miracle? They do not expect Bucket
Attackers
swing,
win.
and that will be Bucket closing it up for Yen with a score of 13-7 on Lotus to close out this best of 3 for tonight with a brilliant showcase and play together. And what a game it was with the back and forth, especially to the end, and almost not quite working out with any throws.
Yeah,
But
a
look.
lot of trolling going around, just taunting the enemies by Yen over there. But in the end, it worked out for them, even if there were some questionable rounds in there.
All for right reason. They got what they needed. Natural with 6 first blood on the board, really showing a Neon masterclass with just how they got past everything for free, getting past, baiting out that tour de force, shots not being able to get landed, and opening up space completely just by being an unshootable, it's like a fly that you just can't really get rid of.
Also, Deft over there showing up with that impact again, getting that match MVP once again. I mean, he's just been so impactful for the team. It's truly why that they were able to win so many fights around in the early game.
Just a brilliant showcase from both sides, but that will be where we end off for this match. But there are still other matches up soon. We may have any interviews with anyone if any players are available.
Wavy is Deftones.
We can just go in, right?
All three?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All welcome on in.
Hello.
Welcome.
I love interviews.
Okay. So
Who's
I
gonna be
actually,
asking us questions?
I'll ask the first question, which is to Natural. Coming into the Lotus map, you played much better on the attacking side, really waking up and just doing pretty much finding out all the timings. What changed? What really made it that you were able to find so much impact for your team?
I just swung everything against Usman. That's the motivation. It was against Usman.
The motivation.
Also want to know the plans around, like, I noticed one round in Tree, there was a Omen ult that was used, and what actually happened around the door opening and the ult coming in?
Yeah, we felt like they were gonna push A. They had hella ults. So we had a read, I guess Swift, even though I had 2 in my crosshairs. It was a good play, it was good, but it eventually just fell short because of the jet. But yeah, other than that, it was just a good read.
Yeah.
It was a good read. It was the fastest dismantling. Honestly. Usman was just immediately left alone in spawn with no idea what just happened to the entire team.
Yeah. And my next question goes up to Deft, actually, because you managed to pick up the match MVP for both maps. What made it go so well? What made it so that you were able to find so much impact and get some kills?
Pretty much just using my team's abilities. Having Bucket on Breach was really helpful. Even though some rounds we were, let's just say, not that good, but asking for utility, pushing close, it was pretty good. Other than that, it was just pretty much just team playing, comms being up. We knew where the enemy were, and we know how to play against it.
It was definitely
Wavy.
showing.
Do you want me to be all professional? Or do you want me to say what actually happened?
No, No, thank you.
He's good. He's good.
I'm fine.
Insider knowledge.
That's trade secrets. We can't have that out.
But I
Trade
really
secrets, fair
want
enough.
it.
Alice, we cannot let them out.
I had lots of fun that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Especially me
Yeah,
yelling at
Wallace
you. We don't
sleep
talk about that.
game.
Yeah. My
Wallace
next
sleep
question.
that game.
My next question goes to Bucket. And Bucket, you were able to find many impactful breach flashes and breach stuns. What made it go so well? Why was it the communication, or how were you able to find so much ways to help your team out onto that crazy fast rounds?
I
Begging
agree.
Them, I was begging for them to tell me. Okay, so I kind of like ignored every pre-run call on like both maps, but like I also was like begging for like them to ask you for utility.
We know.
It was very obvious what Sun said.
And then along with that, the neon playing off the breach. Were there any dumb plans that came up, or not really dumb? I would say they could even technically be the smartest plays, but
GO 2 rounds, we won both.
that definitely good feelings.
2 out of 40, but yeah.
So I want to think about, when did you gain so much
24
confidence
assists.
on Lotus? Because on Lotus, at a few points in time, there were some interesting taunting happening. Let's say
Shenanigans.
shenanigans.
Got it 7
yes.
and 1. There was 0 that we weren't gonna win.
We learned from the master, knife master.
So was it from 7-1? You were all super confident that you were gonna win the map, or?
Yeah.
Round of
Yeah,
map 1.
yeah, pretty much.
As soon as their economy was, they didn't know how to push C, they didn't know how to push A. The other economy was pretty low every round, so it's as simple at the defense side. That's what I noticed, at least.
Okay, Kogi, any more questions?
Not really, aside from like, what was at the beginning as well. For who do we have here? We have Bucket and Deft. And Natural.
Please tell me producers can see what I was typing.
We could see it, but I don't believe the stream
Casters
could see it.
Casters could see it.
Yes, we saw the shenanigans of.
What did you tell the stream? What's happening? Did they know?
Unfortunately, they were not notified of what
That
was happening.
that would have doubled viewership.
You reckon? Yeah.
They played
They
triple.
would've.
They played quadruple.
No. Like actually.
Any tips for the neon? Yeah, we'll keep calling it shenanigans. The neon, just one round that appealed to me as well. Just the poor Usman, I believe, who was sitting in a one-way smoke in spawn, but
That yes. Was he also stunned or not?
He got a couple of messages after that. Just run around as a neon.
where does this neon movement? Where does it all just come from? Just in the zone.
I have like 300 hours on Neon and Silver, and I haven't played it since like I got to a model. So like, yeah, I'm just running around.
Just fun
Yeah.
times. It definitely showed. It looked like you were just doing neon things on Lotus. Just a couple neon things.
Final question on my side is that, is there anything you would like to say to the opponents or to the people who are watching the stream or anything?
GG.
ditched us.
Zero. Our IGL was not here. We feel bad, but other than that, it was GG. Well played. We're looking forward to versing, I think, UFO next.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, you should be UFO next, and we wish them the best of luck. You guys are not winning that game.
Play
The
UFO?
confidence.
Hey, good luck at UFO.
I'm sorry. That to them, that prem game was a fluke, and then yeah, that's it.
Fiery words.
GG's to all of you. It was a hell of an entertaining game to watch, but wish you all the best of luck in the next game.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you for the games. Thank you for the
I
casting.
want to
thank
see
you
some stream highlights.
I think there's a couple of them.
I want to see some stream highlights.
Just have the replay after each card.
Yes, so we'll be wrapping up the interview, and thank you everyone for watching.
Thank
We
you
should
for
be
the interview.
all good
Bye-bye,
to go for
stream.
tonight.
Bye stream.
And thank you to anyone else who has stayed or continues to watch. And the next games should be coming out. Any ideas when the next one is?
No confirmed dates at all.
None. Alrighty. Soon.
Just have to.
We'll hope for
Yeah.
soon.
This
soon
week.
as we
This week definitely, obviously.
As soon as anything can be sorted out as soon as possible, but with that at the back of our minds, thank you all for tuning in.
Yes, thanks. Bye.